Good day, friends. So, in this part, we are going to look into the case of first order nonlinear equation solving in the category of solvable for y cases. So, if suppose our given ordinary differential is of the form xyp, where p is dy by dx, as we have seen in the first part. So we try to rewrite the given equation as y is equal to function of xp. This rewriting will be helpful in further discussion, or in some cases we can also directly discuss with the given equation. So differentiate this equation both the sides with respect to x. Then we'll be getting dy by dx with a function involving xp and also an added term dp by dx, because p is dependent on x variable. So when differentiating, we'll be involving a term dp by dx. So converting your dy by dx with the usual notation as small p, you'll be ending up in this content. So this, when it can be pulled out like bringing all these dp by dx and the other terms in one side, we can see that it comes to some factors of in p kind, where you can solve further discussing your general and singular solutions. So in dp by dx discussion, when it involves dp by dx, will be getting the general solution, and any factor p directly yielding a function xy, you can deal with your singular solution. Let us make it more clear using some illustrative examples. So take the first problem. Given this equation is solve this equation where you have a x term, y term and a p functional term. Both y and x are linear, so this equation can also be solvable for a x case. But now then we are discussing problem solvable for y case. I am going to go for solvable for y process. So what is that? We differentiate with respect to x variable both the sides. So dy by dx is 1 plus p square. When you differentiate, it is going to give you this p square. You get 2p along with dp by dx. And minus 2p is minus 2 along with, whenever you differentiate p, will be entering a term dp by dx, as this is p is directly not differentiable, and you have this kind of work. Again, replace this dy by dx as a small p term. So you can rewrite this one in the left side as p minus 1. When you pull out a 2 common here also you get a 2 of p minus 1. So we see that p minus 1 is a common factor in both. So we bring it to a single side equation of this kind. This is what we call, put it in a factored form with a differential or a p component. Now this factor p minus 1, which doesn't involve any differential term, will give you a singular solution, whereas this will give you the general solution. Okay, talking about this case, the first case, I'll take 1 minus 2 dp by dx equation as 0. Then I try to solve it by using 1 equal to 2 dp by dx, or you separate the variables x and p, treating p as a variable. Integrating, we get integral dx is twice integral dp, or in other words, it's a simple integrable function, writing just x equal to 2p plus the arbitrary constants, which directly gets us some p value. This p value you substitute in the given equation, you will be ending up in your general solution of this kind. Suppose you go for singular solution, take the second factor case p minus 1. Then p is 1, substitute again in the given equation, we get the singular equation of the problem, singular solution. So this is an illustration, second illustration, which involves again 3x plus log p case. So do the same process, differentiate with respect to x, get the factors of this kind. But if you observe this step here, you cannot separate x. You can separate and write dx equal to dp of this kind, but integrating is not a easy integrable, or it's easy but not in the immediate step you cannot write the integral value. So you need to do work on this factor. What is that working is the denominator is product of two terms. So whenever it is a product of terms, we need to split. That splitting is always done by our partial, PF I mean by partial fractions method. So using partial fractions, I can split and write it as A by P plus B by P minus 3. And then if you solve and write AB values, it will be of this kind. Please check it on your own. Now you write the integral of this. It is 1 by P and 1 by P minus 3. Just 1 by 3 is taken common and written in the left hand side. So you end up in a function of this kind. Here C is not written as log C because anyway you are not going to have a more logarithm in the left hand side term. So you just stop with 3C, and you can simply conclude that the solution is P is got as this form, and that is substituted in the equation to give you the general solution. And do remember one thing in this, we are not getting any separate P factor values, which implies that we are not having any singular solutions. So this discussion gives you only general solution. Coming to the third illustration, it is some powers of x where you have x power 4, y is linear, and p square seems to be a quadratic equation in P, but again finding the factors is not can be done, but which may not be easily integrable. So we go ahead with solving for a y case. Again, do the differential work. When you do the differential work, it is dy by dx, it is written here. But when you do minus px differential, you need to apply your d of u by v rule, uv rule, because it's a product of p and x, p dependent on x. You go for u dv rule. So u dv plus v du, that is what done here. Okay, minus p is taken as u and x is taken as v. So if you take u dv, it is going to be just minus p, and v is written as x. Du, if you differentiate minus p, it is minus 1, that is written here, and dp by dx to be written. Likewise, in the second term also, you need to go for your product of differential rules, d of uv, and get these factors. Again, pull out all the dp by dx terms and the other terms in the other side. Then you can feel that this can be pulled out common in both the terms, and by taking this minus x outer, and we get two factors of this kind with one differential and one without differential. So we'll be getting both gs and ss for this problem. So gs again you equate to 0. Variable separable method is applied, integrate, get your solution, substitute p value in your equation to get your general solution as we discussed earlier. Singular solution, again you get your p value and substitute to get your singular solution, and this is the curve you get for your singular solution. And this is just a problem involving sine and cos terms in the equation, and the procedure is almost the same procedure what we do in the other cases. But one thing we need to concentrate here is, after getting the factors, when you go for the general solution, you will be getting the value of cos p. So immediately I will write p as cos inverse. But whenever you have such components of answers, you try to give cos p value, then you write for sin p value. Because you cannot, if you directly substitute your p value in this, you will be getting a complicated version of your answer. So better to write, whenever you have cos p, immediately I can write a sin p by using the formula root of 1 minus cos square p, isn't it? So I'll be simply writing my cos p substituted value here, and I can get my sin p. After getting sin p cos p, I'll substitute in the equation to get your final answer. So this may be concluded as your general solution. Singular solution is again p equals 0 gives the singular solution. Substituting p equal to 0, there is an error, it should be equal. we get y equal to 0 as the envelope, which means your x-axis is the entire envelope of your equation. The fifth problem, the discussion is again you get a y term. The reason why you go for solvable for y is quadratic factors will not be that easy, and x can also be done here, but here we go for a y discussion. You split up the variables, or you do the differential work according to your comfort. But when you reach this step, you see that there is no common to pull out and write factors of this kind. But when you take a LCM of this part and this part, you can see that p square minus 1 is a common thing. So p square minus 1, when pulled out, you will end up in these factors. So as before, you discuss the general solution and the singular solution. The only part will be taking care here is this part, where you need to do the differential correctly and get into that step. And even here, you know only the value of p square. Instead of substituting p as plus or minus 1 and giving an answer, you can write a p square substitution, get an answer of this kind. Then again squaring, you can substitute, get an answer of this kind. The answer will be neat in this final step. So this is again one more discussion which involves the partial fractions. But one thing I need to emphasize here is, after getting this, we just try to eliminate p between this by some long procedures. So you can just conclude the answer by writing both the equations and p elimination as possible. This last problem is again a similar kind of work, but the thing you need to look into is this part, where after reaching this dp by dx value, I feel it cannot be done by a variable separable method, so I need to go for some other procedure of integral techniques. So I try to rewrite it as a dx by dp. So we can compare it with your first order linear equation and go ahead with your procedure of that, finding the integrating factor. Again, in finding integrating factor, we need to go for partial fractions, then only we will end up in this kind of work. So conclude your solution by rewriting your equation y e power as x e power, and x and p are our variables here, and then go ahead with your solution of this kind. And even in 1, you can go for this part ap square by p. You can go for a substitution of x, and this is your fourth. And even here we have not actually eliminated p. After eliminating p, we can end up in a solution which gives you the general solution. So this is all about solvable for y, and we have some practice sessions to get along the procedures. Thank you.